hot.
Good evening, Knicks fans. Big Nick Burt with the Big Nick Energy here for some more analysis of these preseason games. Big win over the Pacers, and I saw a lot of good stuff and some not so good stuff. Most of it revolving on defense. I got like 17 clips. Half of it is going to be bad stuff. A lot of it is Cam Reddish and a few from Jalen Brunson. But aside from that, let's start with this offense and see the good stuff. Just like how we're executing, how we're scoring 130 something odd points against the Pacers in preseason. And now I understand it is preseason, but at the same time, they're looking like they're playing hard, and you gotta think that that has some weight when it comes to regular season. So, all right, let's take a look at these offensive clips, and we'll see just how we got there. Now, this first clip is a twofer. You see a nice two-man game between Mitchell Robinson and Jalen Brunson. They work together to get a nice shot up. He misses it, but then they reset, and you see the gravity of Brunson on that low post. He draws the defender, leaving RJ Barrett to fill that open spot and to get that open three. Very, very nice. Next up, we see inbounds play, and this is their standard inbounds where your guards are clearing to the corner and going towards the ball, and then Mitch Robinson is there to be the last line. Basically, if you can't hit the first, second, third option, Mitch Robinson is there to get the ball in. They do a nice two-man game, him and Brunson, where Mitch sets the first pick, resets for the second pick, and Brunson actually catches the defender cheating on the pick. He's able to go right, get him on his back, and get up to the basket. Here's a great move from RJ Barrett. He goes baseline, kicks it out to Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish kind of hesitates and doesn't make the pass as quick as I wanted, but he still gets the ball to Brunson, and Brunson's able to do this beautiful fake spin, fade away, cash money. Love it. Now Sims is in the game, and he's running the same high pick that we saw Mitchell Robinson do off that inbounds. He sets it up for RJ, and RJ actually gets a wide open look. You see the two defenders kind of sag off. No one is playing RJ at the foul line. Kind of foolish. He ends up missing it, but it's still a great look and a nice little play run from Sims. Now this is a little better execution of the same principle. It's the same inbounds we saw with Mitch, the same high pick that we saw from Mitch and Sims earlier, but this is going to be for IQ, who is able to do a little spin, a little dance, and get himself a nice foul line extended jumper for 2 points. Next up, we have another side inbounds play. I love looking at our side inbounds plays because we just don't see them that often. You don't see too many set plays. It's a lot of just like, hey, get open sort of thing. Here we see all four guys stacked up, foul line extended. Sims sets a number of screens, sends Reddish to the corner, sends Brunson up top, and finally Obi gets wide open for the three-pointer in the corner. And the reason I've been highlighting this one is because, too, just shows Obi's versatility and also Sims' prowess for setting nice screens, nice picks for players. So the last two plays there, you get to see a little bit of Sims' skill set and also a little bit of the versatility from Obi Toppin. This was a great, smart play for a smaller player to get inside, and I think he got fouled on this play. But we see Brunson steal the ball away from a Pacer player trying to save it under their basket, which is never a good thing to do, because if you save the ball under your basket and the other team ends up stealing it, guess what? They're right there ready to score. And that's what we see with Brunson here. And he takes the baseline because he sees the Pacer player on him. He's kind of playing halfway. He's looking for the cutter because really the smart player is going to cut right to the basket and get that while they're not paying attention, get that nice cut, get a dunk or something. So he's playing it smart, but Brunson notices he's not looking at him, and his feet are not set up to cut off that baseline. So he takes baseline, gets the step behind the defender, puts his butt out, and pushes back on him to make sure he's got enough space. And this is a really smart, strong move by Brunson, and it ends up getting him to the foul line. And that's really, really nice and smart. And if you're a smaller player, you really got to be tuned into these things, where that other player is looking and where your body is to make sure you can get inside. You know, Clyde says it a lot, to protect the ball with your body, get inside, get to the basket, and that's what we see with Brunson. It's just a really smart play. But we know Brunson, he's not just a scorer, he's also a nice point guard who can pass the ball. Now here we see him come up, and Mitchell Robinson calls for it, and he hits him right under the basket. Easy money for Mitchell Robinson. Really nice heads-up play from Brunson. And now here we got a little bit of defense turning into offense. Look at Obi Toppin sticking his guy. He gets drawn to the center, and it's kind of a little bit of a scramble where some guys got loose, guys collapsed into the paint, but Obi Toppin recognizes the open player, which is not his player, mind you, but he recognizes the open player. He's at the foul line. He's about 1 foot from the foul line. He's got 1 foot on the foul line, the other one up towards the top of the key. And this man just sits and lifts, gets his hand on the ball, and defense leads to offense there. Runs it down the court for a phenomenal dunk. Yes, that was the highlight of the game. It must be. Everyone went bananas for that. I couldn't imagine being in the Garden. Points at McConnell like, I don't even know why you tried to come and stop me, because you're not going to do that. And that's just, you know, Obi Toppin's versatility. You know, you saw it with the three-pointer, and also you're going to see it, those block plays, a couple steals, you know, running in transition and getting those easy points, and that's what we really like to see from Toppin. Now, lately, I know I've been doing kind of a Brunson show, but now we got IQ at the top of the key. They run a nice little pick with Toppin. He fades. Nice little pick with Hart. He fades. But guess who also fades? All the Indiana defenders. They all hang back around the top of the key. Emmanuel quickly is like, well, if you're not going to play me, I'm going to shoot that. Easy money, 3 points. And that's the killer instinct that we need from a point guard, especially Emmanuel Quickly, who's been getting more burn. You know, he's coming up. We got to make a decision on this guy. Do we want to keep him? Can he play along, you know, as the second up after Brunson? Or is he going to be a six-man? What's he going to do? Or be the tail end of the bench? And being able to recognize you got the space and having the confidence to keep pulling, because I know he's missed a few of those at this point. So the fact that he's still pulling it and he's confident enough to hit it is great. Recognize what the defense is giving you. And Toppin wasn't open. Hart wasn't open. The drive's not open because they're fading back. Guess what? Easy three-pointer. Love it. And now that's it for the offensive highlights. I know it wasn't nearly as much as the game produced, but, you know, a lot of our really nice highlights were in transition, were in just one-on-one play. And I just wanted to focus more on the offensive sets and read and react, things like that. So now we're going to transition into some defensive lowlights, and this is going to be mostly starring Cam Reddish, mostly starring Jalen Brunson, and we can break into that and what we're seeing here. So here we see Cam Reddish at the top of the key. He's got his man, but he's a little bit too far away, which is fine. He was 2 passes away, which is all right, but he's not really paying attention to where the ball is, where his man is. And what happens is he's a little bit too far away, and he gets caught on a screen from Mitch's man, and he tries to fight over the top of it, but since this guy's a shooter, he should have maybe ducked around it. Makes the wrong decision there, and they get a 3-pointer out of it. This is a pretty egregious blunder. Ball handler brings the ball up left side. They set 2 screens. I think it's Mitchell Robinson and Brunson's man. And what happens is Cam tries to fight through it and follow his guy. So we got Brunson's man bringing the ball up. Cam's man sets a screen. And Mitch's man sets a screen. What happens is Cam keeps following his player, which is fine if Brunson doesn't get caught on it. But he does. He dang near falls over. But Cam just keeps following his man towards the 3-point line when really he should have been cutting off the drive. He doesn't do that. Guy gets inside. He's able to kick it back out, and they get a 3-pointer. Now look at where Cam starts this play. Brunson's guy is bringing the ball up. Mitchell Robinson's guy is setting a screen, and Cam guy is looking for the pass. Cam jumps in on top of the screen. So now he's out dang near the logo. And his guy is able to beat him backdoor. They don't give him the pass, but instead set him up to set another screen for the ball handler. So now Mitch's guy has freed up Brunson. Brunson's trailing the ball handler. Mitch is watching his guy, and Mitch has also got Cam's guy on his back. Now Cam is the second to last line of defense at the foul line. Brunson's guy is coming around the corner. Cam does not step out to stop him, and instead he can just nice layup to the basket. And now Randall maybe should have stepped in as well once he saw Cam was beat. But at that point, if Randall steps in, it's going out to the three-point line. And you got to kind of hope that because Cam was still kind of in front of him, he could be a bigger target and maybe get the block. But instead, easy bucket for Pacers. This next play I thought was all right. McBride and Cam ended up switching without much communication, but they just did it because it made sense. Less movement was better at that point. But what happens is now Sims' man sets a pick for him and rolls and completely loses him. They fight for the rebound, and Sims ends up getting it, or they get a foul. Either way, Reddish is getting lost on these screens pretty much every time. Point in case, he doesn't even get hit on these next two screens. You can see he's on the ball handler, top of the key, barely past the midcourt line. And they set two picks, but they don't even make contact. The ball handler doesn't even really wait for the first one. The second one dips out before he makes contact as well. But Reddish is already lost, so of course they're already rolling. Like, oh, this guy's already lost. And that's just a matter of having slow feet, of not understanding where your guy is going. It's not the full play. I don't think they ended up scoring out of this play, but I just wanted to highlight that Reddish is just not in the right place a lot of the time. And speaking of Reddish not being in the right place a lot of the time, here we got him and Julius Randle working on the right side. And this is just classic not making a decision and getting your guy caught. So what happens here is Randall's helping as he should, and instead of what we see with McBride, now McBride will just fight over those screens. And as soon as he fights over the screen, Randall can go again to his player. But what we see here is Reddish not fighting over the pick, not fighting over the screen, sitting back. He actually doesn't even get to Randall's player, so it's not like he switched either. He just kind of froze in place, and this allows the player now to go right past Randall and get to the basket. But the play doesn't stop. Reddish gets lost in the center now. So now he's switched on to Randall's guy. Randall is now supposed to be pulled out to the corner. He ends up having to switch with Mitch. So Randall and Mitch are now in the center talking about who's going to go out to that corner. And Reddish is lost in the center now too, wondering who he's actually supposed to be guarding. They get a three-pointer off over our guards, but mostly because that was out of confusion. Now Brunson gets caught too, looking at that corner. Who's supposed to be guarding that guy? Nobody's coming out. So you can see Randall in the center, Mitch in the center, Cam Reddish in the center. Brunson and RJ are now stuck between the guy who gets the ball and gets the shot up, because Brunson's like, well, I should go guard that corner. And RJ's like, well, I need to go guard the top of the key, leaving the Pacers player open to get the three. And that's mostly based off of Cam Reddish making the wrong decision. And also, too, Randall and Mitch not making a quicker decision on who should go out to the corner, when really it should be Randall. But in actuality, Cam and him never should have switched to begin with. When he got that first pick, he should have fought over it, got in front of his guy again. But instead he plays lazy and lets him go against Randall. They get all mixed up. It's a really big breakdown. And I think right after this is when Thibodeau called the timeout. And I thought Reddish wasn't going to come back in the game, but he does. So again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but we're seeing the same thing over and over and over again. Cam Reddish gets beat off the pick, can't keep up with his guy, doesn't even make contact with the pick, just can't keep up with his guy, doesn't know to either go behind the pick, call for the help, whatever, fight over the top of the screen. But that would take effort. It's not there. He's got slow feet, not getting over the pick. Then he gets lost in the center again. Doesn't know who to call. He's pointing for Brunson to go out. He gets his hand on the inbound pass. And it's just, I think we ended up getting a turnover or whatever. But that's mostly because Mitchell Robinson is doing overtime. But Reddish has really got to, he's the start of most of these breakdowns where it's if you fought over the screen, if you called for the help the right way, if you needed it, if you could go over the backside of it because you're high up and he's not a shooter, fine. But he's not doing that. Every time this guy is going, he's not even making contact with the pick, and the guy's beating him off the dribble. It's really, really sad to see. Now, Cam gets saved on this last play because the guy travels. And I think they got saved on the other play too because Mitchell Robinson ended up blocking it. But here we go again. Top of the key. Cam Reddish, Mitchell Robinson setting a pick. Now this time he does try to fight over it. He takes a little bit of the contact, and Miles Turner maybe stepped out, and it could have been a moving, but that wasn't called. More importantly, he does fight to get back to his player, hits him with a pump fake, gets him in the air, and then hits a nice give and go with Mitchell Robinson's player. But more importantly, look at this last bit of this play. The last bit of this play is Cam Reddish's guy not taking that layup. He retreats back out to the corner 3-point line, and they do a little two-man game with, I think that's Randall's guy and Brunson's guy. So now RJ is switched off onto the top of the key, and Cam is stuck in the middle, kind of helping Mitchell Robinson out with his center, but he should be worrying about that guy in the corner. They skip pass it out over to him, but he ends up traveling. But it could have been worse for him had the guy set his feet before taking off. So now I don't want you to get the impression that I don't appreciate Cam Reddish as a player or as a defender. So here is a play. He gets in the passing lane, gets his hand on the ball, knocks it free, almost gets a steal. Love it. Love that. However, once the player gets the ball and resets, Mitchell Robinson's guy comes up again, ready to set a pick, ready to roll with him. And again, barely makes any contact, but Cam Reddish is just completely not ready for it, doesn't know how to fight over it, go under it, whatever he needs to do. And he lets Mitchell Robinson get beat to the basket, which normally doesn't even happen, but he did a nice little reverse under the rim. And every small guy will tell you, you get under the rim and do a reverse, who's going to block you? The guy can't jump because the rim's in his way. So just a nice smart move by the Pacers, but also what we've been seeing all night with Cam Reddish, Mitchell Robinson, Cam Reddish, Jericho Sims, Cam Reddish, Randall. Whoever is setting those picks for him, he's getting beat off of it. And it's not even the picks really, it's that player. He's getting the first step on him. And maybe this is just an assignment problem where Thibodeau needs to have him guard someone who's a bit slower. But either way, maybe he needs to play further back so that he can have that extra room to go under the screen. And if he's getting the three-pointers up, which he wasn't shooting at all. So I don't know what the issue is, but to me it seemed like he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time every single time down the court. Now, all right, I know I mentioned this is going to be a Cam Reddish and Brunson kind of duo thing going on for these lowlights. So here we go, finally, on to Jalen Brunson making a mistake here with Mitchell Robinson. Same thing that we see with Cam Reddish. He kind of just hits the pick and doesn't fight over under either way. Doesn't even get on his back, just gives up the switch. Now he's pointing, Mitchell Robinson, help me. Cam Reddish, take Mitchell Robinson's guy. But that's not going to work in this scenario. So you get two guys out, Brunson and Cam Reddish out on the one shooter at the three-point line. Mitchell Robinson's doing his job as the center. And Jalen Brunson's guys pulling up for a nice mid-range two. Easy money. And now I think we had R.J. Barrett there. R.J. Barrett was there as well. He could have jumped out to help, but then he would have passed it to R.J. Barrett's guy in the corner and got the three-pointer up anyway. So really what needed to happen was Jalen Brunson needed to fight over the top of that screen, keep on the back of his player. Even if he was beat a little bit behind, Mitchell Robinson would have taken a little bit more pressure off of him. Either way, wasn't a good defensive possession at all. And now here is the rare Cam Reddish and Jalen Brunson duo messing up. We got Jalen and Cam Reddish, his guy. One's got the ball. One sets a little screen, not really, kind of baby, like, oh, let me move out. They don't communicate, and really that's Brunson's guy, I think, running. And because they don't communicate, the guy gets completely free and is able to hit a three-pointer. And that's just clearly on Brunson, clearly on Cam Reddish. They're not communicating. They're not making decisive action towards guarding a player. They just trying to, I don't know, it was like a weak trap. I don't know what they were thinking, but two guys can't be covering one guy, especially not out there. And especially not when the shooter is running to his spot. Really bad lapse. But I think that is it for defensive lapses. Now we can start looking at some nice defensive stops, because this game really was one of offense and of defense. So let's take a look here. And now I highlighted Obi Toppin before. We saw that great block into a transition dunk. Now we're going to see what he can do one-on-one, where he's pulled out to the three-point line. He's not really on an island. He's got Derrick Rose there to help him. Hart is there, but Hart's getting pulled out a little further than we would have liked. But at the same time, RJ Barrett's there, Randall's there. Everyone's pretty much doing their job the right way. And now this player could have kicked it out to RJ's guy, to Randall's guy, either way. Instead, he thinks he's going to take Obi Toppin off the dribble. And now, last year, maybe you could have done this to Obi Toppin. But this year, it seems like he's really playing smart. He stays with the guy. Nice closeout from the three-point line. He goes up for the layup and blocks it. At the same time, though, Obi Toppin is not impervious from criticism. He does make his mistakes here. We get three guys in the center. I don't think Toppin needed to help here. It seemed like McBride may have been getting beat towards the center, but I think Obi was a little too overzealous by coming to the inside. Hart was there. McBride was there. But so was Obi. So we end up with three guys in the paint. Not what you really want to see. They kick it out to the three-pointer, and the guy misses. But a better team is going to make you pay for that. And I just think, you got to be a little bit more aware, Obi Toppin, all right? But otherwise, I think he played a really solid game. Now, I got a bunch of examples showing you how Cam Reddish was not going over screens, how Brunson was not going over screens. But now let's take a look at Deuce McBride. This guy is great. He picks up his guy from as soon as he inbounds the ball, sticks with him nice and close, all the way going up. They set one pick, fights over it. They set another pick, fights over it. Makes his guy give up his dribble, gets the ball back off a handoff. He gets into the paint, and he bails him out by having his hand on him. So when he pulled up, it was a foul. But otherwise, 99% pure defensive skill. He just needed that extra 1% to keep your hands off when he's going into the paint, because otherwise, I don't think he was making that shot. I don't think he had what it took. But otherwise, really, really nice play from Deuce McBride. Now let's take a look again. Obi Toppin closing out from the three-point line. I don't know what people think they can do to this guy, but this year he's got fast feet, jumping really strong, and got a nice intuition on the ball. He gets a little bit past Obi, but jumps up, gets the nice block. I think he got 3 blocks, including that one that led to the dunk. Really nice effort from Obi on both ends this night. Now check this out. I love this play. Mitchell Robinson squaring up with Miles Turner, top of the key. He knows Miles can shoot it, so he's out there covering him. He's daring him. Hey, put the ball on the ground. He takes 2 dribbles, makes 2 little baby crossovers. The second crossover, snatches it. He puts it right in front of Mitchell Robinson, expecting him not to take it. He thinks it's practice time out there. Mitchell Robinson is telling him it's game time. Let's go. Love that steal. And that's what you want from Mitchell Robinson coming into this year, because, he's not really been known for swiping the ball away, but his guys are not really known for dribbling either. So you like to see they put the ball on the ground, go ahead and take it. Love that. And now I know I was getting on Brunson for messing up some of those screens, not running over him, not really playing the right way. But here we are in the second quarter, ending the second quarter with a pretty nice lead. and he came to work. They put 4 guys at the top of the key. Pretty crazy if you ask me, but they're doing it. They're trying to run and get some guys free. Brunson hits the first pick, gets over it. Gets his second one, gets over it. A third one, gets over it. His guy is forced to take a shot up. Mitchell Robinson's there to help and ultimately played really, really well. They miss it. Knicks get the ball, mostly because of Julius Randle. But really nice effort from Brunson, really nice effort from Mitchell Robinson. And that's it. Those are all the clips I got for you today. It's about 5 minutes of clips. I know I was harping on Cam Reddish and Brunson a little bit there, but I want you to know that it's not a lost cause. It's just maybe it was a matchup that was poor, that maybe this guy was just too quick for Reddish. But really, I just want to see him approaching it in a better way to say, I know I got to go under the screen with this guy, or I know I need help. Hey, Mitch, step out for me on this guy, and I'm going to come back around, make sure he doesn't get that pass inside. And that's just a communication thing. Because I've had people where it's like, if you need to go under the screen, you need to communicate to your big guy that he can step out, and you're going to fill in for him, making sure he doesn't get that lob in. And Cam Reddish is tall enough to make that happen. Brunson, not so much. He needs to fight over the top every single time for the most part, unless his guy's not a shooter. But 99% of the time, Brunson needs to go over the top. And if Reddish is going to go under, he's got to make it clear to Jericho Sims. He's got to make it clear to Mitchell Robinson that he's going to help make sure that lob doesn't happen so they don't get in trouble. And then he's got to fight and work his butt back up to get to his guy. And then 2, if you get lost, you got to be quicker realizing where you're supposed to be. So though we got the win, there has been a lot of nice offensive stuff, a lot of nice defensive stuff. Cam Reddish was a real low light, and it really kind of made me second guess. We know why he's on the bench, right? We know why he's on the bench. So, but it's just preseason. We're trying to work the kinks out and see what we got. Thank you for stopping by and letting me talk to you about the New York Knicks and analyze this preseason game. Really nice win. I really enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments what your favorite play was and what you want to see more of. I am Big Nick Burt with the Big Nick Energy. Have a good night.
Burt knows basketball, y'all.